And Kobe Bryant gets an Academy Award. First of all, when you think about great actors, you think Kobe Bryant, of course. But at the same time, this is a man who was accused of, sexual misconduct. Gary Oldman, another one, accused of sexual misconduct. And they're both award winners on this show. Shocking lack of self-awareness. When Roman Polanski is still lauded as a great director. When Woody Allen is celebrated for a lifetime of his filmmaking. And everything else is ignored about their lifestyles and their backgrounds and their deviancy. How in the world are you supposed to take Hollywood seriously? I mean, it boggles the mind, the shocking lack of self-awareness, the superiority complex, coupled with the lack of awareness. It's absolutely staggering. When Rose McGowan, who is seemingly the poster child for blowing the whistle on blowing the lid off of this whole, scandal of Hollywood, can't really get a job and has been marginalized. That's all you need to know about Hollywood. And then all the Me Too stories about casting couches and who's a predator and who is complicit and all this stuff. It gets to the point where it can't be taken seriously anymore. And these are the people that are going to constantly tell you Donald Trump is bad. This, that, and the other. Conservatives are wrong. They're so heartless. They're so horrible. That's what it all comes down to, folks. I don't understand how they take themselves so seriously when the rest of America doesn't. And clearly America is voting by changing the channel. And that's been good to see. Perhaps next time they won't alienate audiences. Hopefully they can be a culture change. But that takes a long time, folks. I don't know if we're going to live to see it, but hey, one can hope, right? So listen, that's going to about do it for this show. I did promise you a pretty long final thought here. To just say, here's where I've been and here's what's been going on lately. And, I want to also take a moment in this final thought to let you know, just maybe to just bring awareness of what happened and also what has come out of it for me. For those of you who don't know, haven't been following on social media, and you'll be forgiven if you haven't. It's not like I advertise this out to the world. A couple of weeks ago, I was hospitalized, and the reason for it is because I had an infection in my back that grew into blood poisoning and sepsis that required an emergency procedure, and it left me in the hospital for about a week. It all developed based upon my own fault, really. And it was my failure to really take care of myself and my failure to, go to the doctor and eat the right foods and really take care of, myself. And it was a wake-up call. It was a huge wake-up call. And I'm still dealing with it to this day. I had a procedure on my back to remove a cyst that basically turned infected, and the swelling of it caused cellulitis and this whole thing. I'm not going to give you the gory details of it all, but I'm still dealing with it. I still have the wound in my back that has to be closed up. And the wake-up call was not only that I'm approaching 40 this year and that I need to take better care of myself, but it was how great it is to have so many people that care about you. And listen, I don't want to get all kinds of mushy and crazy on you here, but from my family who, were there the whole time, even when I was depressed and low and, really down on myself, and they took all the yelling and screaming and irrationality that was coming out of me and coming to grips with the new normal that is my life now. Or the number of friends who reached out to see how I am and all that. It put life in perspective. The hustle and bustle of work and the radio show and all that took a back seat. And this whole thing has taught me that I gotta slow down. I gotta, take stock in myself, and I gotta do what I have to do to remain on this planet as long as I can. Because not only because people rely on me, but because people care about me. And I'm taking that message to heart. I'm going to doctors and eating right and, exercising and trying to take, things in perspective and as I'm saying all this, I'm thinking about it, and it really is sort of like a rebirth. I was laying in the hospital bed on Long Island, saying to myself, you know what, I came into this world, into the hospital, and here I am back again. I've made no progress. But this can be an opportunity for a new rebirth, a new beginning. And that's what I took it as. I mean, was I miserable that I ended up there? Absolutely. Was I miserable that I missed CPAC and seeing many of those friends that were well-wishers and really care about me and my well-being? Absolutely. But it's a new beginning now. And I'm taking it seriously, and hopefully, you'll see in the weeks and months and years to come, God willing, everything in this new normal will be routine, and you'll have a new and improved Gene to kick around a little bit. And that's the goal anyway. So for those of you out there who knew about it and cared enough to reach out, thank you so much. You really don't know what that meant to me. And knowing that, there were people out there, even strangers that I had never met, that I just don't know through, the Facebooks and the Twitters, reaching out, that was just huge. And, to my family, I mean, my sister, who is taking care of me like no one could, and, repacking wounds and making sure I'm eating right and all this stuff, I can't thank enough. And, not to end on a downer, I'm hopeful for the future, that, this recovery is going to go well, that my new normal is going to be one where I see myself taking stock in myself and putting myself first a little more than I used to do. And, we'll see what happens. And that's pretty much it. That's enough. That's going to be the first and last time I'm going to get sappy with you guys. I almost regret doing it now, but, for those of you who care about what's going on, that's what's been going on. That's why we've been off air. And, I will take care of myself to make sure we're not off that long ever again. But speaking of that off air, it's time to get going here. I want to thank everybody for listening to the show. I want to thank Sharron Angle for coming on the show. But until next week, it's time to shut this sucker down. Gene Berardelli, Behind Enemy Lines. We are out of here. Good night. Our position's been compromised. It's time to roll out. Report for debriefing at www.behindenemylinesradio.us and look for regular communications via Facebook and Twitter at BEL_radio. You are the resistance. Behind Enemy Lines. A rock radio production. Copyright 2016. Back in 7 days. Out.